Okay, what are we going to say?
All right, Rodney, so state your full name.
Rodney Perkins.
And who did you serve with during the Second World War?
I was in the 87th Infantry Division, General Patton, 3rd Army.
Which regiment and company were you with?
345, and Company B, 345, yes.
Now,
and I even forgot if I was in the, I think at one time we only had, instead of 3 platoons, we had 2, so I get mixed up what platoon back then. Because I gotta, you know, because we lost all those squad leaders, you know, in the Battle of Welch that one day at Morrissey. And that's when I came squad leader. I was just 19 years, just turned 19.
we have talked and you have educated me a lot on the town of Morrissey, the village of Morrissey. I knew nothing about it until I met you. Now I know that you were one of the first men of the first reconnaissance squads to go into Morrissey.
I was.
Do you remember that day going in?
Yeah, very well.
Tell me about it.
The day before we went into Morrissey, we were a rifle company, right? Frontline troops. I was the first scout. Before we went to Morrissey, we took our overcoats off. We had, you might see pictures of Morrissey's with people with overcoats on. They weren't us. They was after the fact. And people think it is, but it isn't. We had no overcoats for the rest of the war. We just had the field jackets. And now where was I?
Being one of the first reconnaissance troops to go into Morrissey.
Yes. I was sent into Morrissey, me and the second scout, before the company goes in. We were sent into Morrissey to scout the town. Everything was nice and quiet in Morrissey that day. I see no German, no troops. So, but there was a little brook that runs through Morrissey like that. And there was a bridge, so we wanted to stay in Morrissey because we're going to dig in on the outskirts of town. So I went back and gave my other report to town. I see no German soldiers, everything is quiet in town. But I said, there's that little wooden bridge that goes over the brook. See, we're going to go right to town and dig in. So we came back, so they said, well, we won't go over that bridge, because I said it's going to be zeroed in probably. So we went across the brook. The water wasn't very deep, maybe 8 inches or 10 feet, just a little brook. But we got our feet wet, and that they stayed wet the rest of the winter. Anyway, like I say, I went first because I was first scout, then the second scout, and then the rest of the company. Well, I went over and up this open field, and I got fired on a machine gun, and it was in a house. The house is made of brick over there. So I hit the ground, and I gets back up. So I signaled to the second scout. I can see him, but I can't see the company. They haven't even crossed the brook yet, I don't think. So I get up, I start walking again. They fire at me again. I go down, and I feel this burning feeling in my back here, but I was right close to the house, so I know they could see me if I moved. So I just moved my hand very slowly, thinking they would not see me move, because they figure I'm dead by now. This is a machine gun at a short range. And I move my hand up very slow to feel where I'm shot. I know I'm shot because I have a burning feeling in my backside. I start moving my hand just a little bit at a time, and I was so close they could see me move. When they see me move, they really gonna finish me off for good this time. Blasted it. Bullets all over, the dirt flying up. The tracer bullets are going over my head. And because the tracer bullet, that's for to see that you hit your target, which they did. Well, sort of. Yeah. So I don't move. And I'm wondering what's happened to me, because nothing's happening. There's no attack going on that machine gun. And I'm laying there for a long time because it's cold in the winter, and I figure they're going to come out and check on me. And when they do, they'll probably finish me up. Then a lot going through my mind at that time, you know, you're thinking, because I don't want to die. So I said, maybe, I'm thinking maybe they'll take me as a prisoner. Then I said, no, they won't do that. But I had my M1 laying beside me, and I figure when they come out, at least I could get a couple of them before they're going to get me for sure then. But nothing happened. They don't come out. And then after a while, I don't know how long, maybe an hour, half hour, that machine gun started up again. Now it's firing over my head. Well, what happened was we didn't have any officers in our company. They got shot down there. And Fouché, our platoon leader, took over, and they attacked that machine gun.
Now, when you were laying in the field, did you see your men move past you to attack that machine gun?
Yeah, oh yeah. And
at what time did you decide to get up?
When they got up to me.
And you joined them.
Yeah.
So you joined that assault on the machine gun with a bullet in your butt.
Yeah, and then we took those the wounded went back with the prisoners. We had some prisoners. We went into that house and took those Germans and ones as prisoners, and walking wounded. They went back into town with these guys. Now there's only about 8 of us, I think.
Did they have to throw a grenade in that house, Rodney?
No. No. We walked into that house and they surrendered.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you said anyone that was wounded during that assault went with the prisoners.
Brought the prisoners back. And I think there was about 8 of us. And so we were going back to town. We came to that bridge that I said was being zeroed in, and sure enough, there was a machine gun that's after the bridge and zeroed in that bridge. And that thing was hot. And it was smoking, but the Germans left it. They had left it. And we went into town. That's when we went into that house where there was a family in there. There was this older couple and a younger lady that had a couple of kids. So the older lady was scared. She was scared and nervous, and so one of our guys put his arm around her. He says, "Madam," he could speak French a little because these people spoke French. And he said to her, "Don't worry, madam. American soldiers are here now. Everything's going to be fine." Now, as he's talking to her, he's got his arm around her, talking to her. A bullet came through the window and hits him in the nose. And she passes right out. Just like that. Now, everything, because the only guy went back, and things quieted down a little bit. And we ate. They shared a little bit of food they had with us, with a slice of bread, jam, and a cup of milk. You see, the barn is hitched to the house, you know, and so we had milk, warm milk. One slice of bread, piece of jam, and a cup of warm milk. Well, nighttime it's coming now. And the houses, some houses got on fire. Like the one I looked, the house next to ours was burning.
Why were the houses burning?
They were shelled by artillery, American artillery. I gotta go back to there and tell you why. Our company moved out of town. They know where we were. They said back that time, a runner, they call a runner, to tell us to move out because the 87th, our company B is moving out of town. Well, he never made it. We found him the next day, he was dead in the road. And so that's why we happened to stay in that town that night. He got shelled by him. Yeah, a lot of people don't know, but we were shelled by American artillery. I talked to guys that did it. Yeah, and the people, the civilians still there, we were there with those people. Then I said, okay, the house next doors were burning. And I looked upstairs, I said, this house is going to be burning. Sure enough, the roof's on fire. So we had like a bucket brigade. I was in the attic. The old man that owns the house was handing me water, and the other people were getting water from the barn. But there was no use, we couldn't put the fire out. The smoke got so bad, the old man don't want to quit now, he's holding me up there. But I had to push him down like off the ladder because I can't breathe no more from the smoke.
So he was the owner of the house trying to save his own home?
Yeah, trying to save his house. So somebody else tried it because I can't breathe, try to do it, and we couldn't put it out. So now, like I said, the barn's hitched to the house, so he had to let his cows out. This is at nighttime. And when he let his cows out, there was a German tank down the road, and because anything that moved, they would shoot at, and he shot it. We found his cows out there dead the next day, and we found our runner, the guy that was supposed to tell us to move out. He was dead too, right in front of our house.
So the German tank machine gunned the cows?
Right. Yes, they did. And so we had to move off to another house, and that family moved us down the road to another house. They survived it. Because I had seen them, went back through that town one time when we was moving out of Marcy or that area. And I'd seen the lady that lived there in the center of that town. She was getting water, I believe, from, they have I think, an artesian well or something in the middle of the town that time. And we moved back to it. But after Marcy, we only had, our platoon had enough to make one squad. And that's only 2 days in Marcy. We had enough guys, we had a full, a squad is 12, 14 men in a squad. So I just turned 19, and I happened to be squad leader then. And we had no officers in our company, no squad leaders, no assistant squad leaders. So, like I said, they made up one squad. And that's when I became squad leader. I still wouldn't be squad leader today because I'm not that type of guy to be a good squad leader. Anyway, after Marcy, I don't remember, I don't think it was the next day after we moved out, but maybe a couple of days after, we moved into this area where there were American soldiers there. But these soldiers were all dead. and they were frozen. Some was in the foxholes, some was out. And this is where I met some dead American soldiers stripped of their clothes, all their clothes. No underclothes, no clothes at all. Because that bothered me. Well, anyway, then I found out after a while that they were Germans that would strip their clothes and pretend they're Americans, like MPs.
I would love to put, if we could pinpoint that location, I would love to put a memorial there for those guys.
That's something I can't do. But it's around Morrissey.
Right.
In the survey.
And I wonder what division they belong to. They weren't, you don't think they were 87th men, right?
I didn't, but now I heard so many people went around, got there, on the outskirts of town before we did, I think. But I'm not a sure thing.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know who those men were. Yeah. But they could be 87, yeah. They could be.
So you're advancing towards those foxholes, right?
Yeah, we got to those foxholes and we got fired on. So now we're jumping in these foxholes. There were dead men in these foxholes. And they were frozen. So we get in the foxhole right away. We jumped right in because we were fired on. And threw the dead men out, and we got in. And that's when Novak, I remember, he was a platoon sergeant, I believe, some platoon, and he hesitated. He didn't know the hole he was going to get in had a dead man in, so he hesitated. And when he did hesitate, he got shot, and he died too. So anyway, after Morrissey around there, that's when we only had enough of men in our platoon to make one squad. That's in a couple of days.
Did Sergeant Nowak die right away?
Not right away, but not long. He didn't live too long, no.
Where was he hit? In the abdomen or?
I don't know where he is.
Yeah.
Maybe more than once, probably. I don't know.
Poor guy.
No.
Well, there's a beautiful monument to him in New York where he was from.
There is?
Oh. Because he was a semi-pro baseball player.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, he was. I think it was a picture of the St. Louis or somebody town like that.
I forget.
I don't know. I forget who he played for.
Yeah.
But out in the Middle West someplace, I believe.
And there was another man you told me about. I believe he was an officer in Morrissey.
Oh, a squad leader.
Yeah. What was his name? I think it began with an L or something.
And when we went to the cemetery, I told you the wrong name. That's why we couldn't find him.
I know, and I found him later. I can't...
Yes, Sergeant Keel, yes.
Keel.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Teal with a T.
Right, but I said my squad leader. My squad leader was wounded too.
Yeah.
So that's who I thought it was. Then it came to me. I tell them the wrong guy. They'll never find him because
it was Teal with a T.
Huh?
It was Teal.
Yeah.
Not Teal. Yeah.
Anyway, Warren Batchel was with him. He was the heavy weapon man, and Keel. There was a barbed wire fence, so he had to get through it.
Is this in Morrissey?
In Morrissey. So I think lift up the fence for him to get through it, and when he did, when he stood up, he got shot and he died right there. Yes, and so there wasn't too many of us left. Not in our platoon. Our platoon took, beating the whole company did, but I got that list of all the guys.
It's in that book too, that regimental book.
I got Company B, the story, personal story, the Company B, we got all the names down there, most all of them anyway.
Yep. And your stories in my book, The Rifle.
Yeah, yeah. You got all the names?
No, I don't have. I'm not going to have enough room to honor all those men, but.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's 50-something names in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one day in Al Platoon. They're talking about Al Platoon, yeah.
Now, after you occupied the foxholes with the other soldiers in them, where did you go from there? Did you have to, you guys are taking fight, did you repel the enemy? Did they try to attack?
After we left there, it's blank. I don't know. I don't know where we went. I remember that very plain. But how we got out of there or left, I don't know. It's all blank to me. Yeah.
I think you told me after that there was a time when you were coming across some Germans, right? And you and the captain had to throw grenades and take them prisoners.
Yes, there was one area one night. That's when Captain Shelton got shot in Marcy. He had got a bullet through his head, but he lived. I talked to his wife maybe 40 years after, and she said he was in hospitals for 5 years. But when I seen him, he had two sons and a wife, and he was in a wheelchair. And he says he remembers. He said he remembers me. You know, I kind of doubt it, but maybe he did, you know. Nice man, nice. We had 3 officers, you know, after that in Morrissey that they didn't last very long. But good guys, real good men, yeah.
Oh yeah, you were saying that you and the captain.
Yeah. Went in the foxholes.
Well, there was Germans, but you didn't pull the pin.
That's right.
Was that also near Morrissey, or?
Yeah, it's not far from Morrissey because Captain Pike was still with us.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you guys find some.
There was these microphones set up there. Now I even think to this day I thought that was German because it was in German and English. And I said, well, they tell us to surrender or they're going to come and take us out of our foxhole.
So headquarters had set up a microphone.
I don't know, even to this day, if it was us or the Germans. It was in both languages.
To tell the Germans to surrender or to tell you to surrender?
They was telling us to surrender.
Okay.
This is what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so we're ready for the Germans to come, you know. They're going to make an attack on our foxholes tonight. Then Captain Pike, Lieutenant Pike, he became a company commander because we didn't have any. From Company C he came from. He said, Rodney, tonight we're going to do the foxhole. I thought it was the other way around. Well, that's when that story I told you, we had a bunch of prisoners come to one foxhole. Here they are, sleeping still. How can they be sleeping, you know, to all the excitement going on? Because I put my rifle in there to get them out of the hole. They don't want to come out. Captain Pike says to me, well, Lieutenant Pike then, he said, Rodney, throw a grenade in there. I had 2 grenades, that's all I threw one in. I don't believe I pulled the pin. I didn't have the heart to do it. So my captain pulled it in, it went off. Yeah. And then by the time we had a bunch of them and we had somebody guarding them, it was at night, and a German up in the tree had a burp gun and he sprayed the area. And when he did, our Americans, the guards, hit the ground. The Germans ran off. We lost all our prisoners.
So when they wouldn't get out of the foxholes, had they already been captured at that? Did they have weapons?
I could hear them, but they wouldn't get out. They didn't.
Oh, so they didn't surrender yet.
No.
Okay.
They was in the foxhole.
So how many Germans do you think he killed with the grenade?
I don't know. I would say 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not my grenade, but it could have been.
I'm sure it blew up anyway with another grenade next to it.
It's not, you know, it's not nice to kill anybody. You know, to me, it wasn't. It bothers me.
Mm-hmm. I don't blame you. And I think after that incident, you were telling me about the replacements you guys got.
Oh, yes.
And
I don't know if I told you about the Siegfried line, but now we haven't gone through the Siegfried line yet. You want to hear that story?
yes, and yeah, please.
Oh. I was a demolition man, and they taught you to get these bunkers, fortified, you know, they maybe got 6 feet of concrete reinforced everything. Yeah, a grenade or anything, you can't blow them up. So there was 2 other men with me. One man was a primer card, and one had the fuse to put in and then the primer card. Then it was supposed to be, I was the one to throw in a vent, because they had vents, the only way they get air, you know, so they had a vent. And we was told if you get up on top of a bunker, you could put that a charge, TNT, down through the hole, and you know, that's how they were selling it. Anyway, that's what happened. Our company really fired everything they had at this bunker. So while myself and 2 other men went around to get on top of the bunker. I got on top of the bunker, all right, but then I'm waiting for the other 2 guys for my primer card, my firing cap, and nothing. They don't show up. I guess they chicken on me, so I'm up there alone. So then I got back safe, and I took everything away from them. I took the primer card and the blaster caps, and I carried on. I never had to do it again, only that one time. That was a Siegfried line.
Was it before? I thought it was before the Siegfried line when you got your replacements, and you guys were out digging an outpost.
Oh, an outpost.
And then a German walked right up on you guys, and the replacement thought he was an American.
Yeah, well, I took 2.
That one was
2
that.
young replacement men.
Was that before the Siegfried line?
No, it wasn't the Siegfried line.
Okay, it was after.
All this is happening close together, though. You know, Siegfried line was right after this. Anyway, see, I could be screwed up sometime on some of the timing, but it was all the same time. So I put it said there, we get some replacements, I remember, so it had to be a little bit after Morrissey. So I took these 2 young guys, never been in combat, just got these guys probably that day, I guess, to put them in an outpost. But we started digging in, and it was close to the Germans who were digging in. They were in the wooded area, you could hear them, and then they stopped, you know, any noise, they were firing, they were all unhappy guys, I guess. So they started digging. The ground, it was a lot of snow then, so that's after Morrissey had no snow. It was after Morrissey. And it was a lot of snow. So we were digging, but they're having a hard time to make a hole. I said, boy, you know, so they weren't doing good, so I said, look it, one of you guys stand guard and I'll try to dig for a while. I looks up and the kid says, halt. Then he said, I thought you was a German. Now I said, he's a German, you know, you shoot. Because the German had his burp gun, a patrol, he had a white sheet and he had a burp gun. He had that burp gun part way off and I hollered, shoot, because he's going to spray us. He did. He took the whole 8 rounds into that guy. The German falls back and he starts mumbling. He's not dead. He mumbles in German and right at our foxhole. I said, well, this is an end of this because they I said, we don't have a foxhole. So morning's coming now and no hole, maybe a foot deep. So I called on the phone, I said, we're going to be attacked by the Germans and we're coming in. Because this don't make no sense to stay here because we're dead. We killed a German soldier here, we're dead. So we're coming in. Whoever on the other phone says, no, you can't come in. All outposts, the colonel says, has to stay out. Well, I said, the colonel said that? Well, I tell the colonel where to go because we're coming in and tell everybody in our platoon to hold the fire until we get there. So the guy on the other end, the company headquarters says, let me talk to somebody else. He gave it to the kid and the kid said, oh, son, we can't leave our post. You can't? You just follow me. You're gonna follow me because I said, see the dead German soldiers? That's you. That's us. We're dead. So we aren't staying here. And then you follow me and do what I do. Now the snow's deep. We took off. So I said, we're coming in. So tell everybody to hold the fire till we get into a foxhole. Sure enough, I looked up to our flank. There was a squad leader. He setting up his machine gun and he's pointing right to us and the rest of the squad coming after us. So then we take off. I said, well, the snow's deep as we're running and they're shooting at us and
The Germans are shooting at you?
Oh yeah, and we're taking off. And the snow was steep and so I said, these guys do everything I do. So I hit the ground because the snow was deep every a little while so that it wouldn't have a sight on us. And then when we come to our foxholes, I said, you jump into any foxhole, you don't look for yours, any foxhole, you just jump into it. So that's what we did. But our small weapons were frozen, a lot of them not working. But we had mortars set up in the back, and they all worked. And those Germans, I could see them standing and they were surprised. They thought we were just a patrol or something. And they're all dumbfounded. And the mortars came in and when I jump in my foxhole, I take my rifle. It's clogged up solid with ice. Because we were taught in basic training, if your rifle isn't clean, it will blow up. But I think some of that just to make us clean it. Anyway, I get in the foxhole, I pull my rifle out, and I duck down and I pull the trigger. It blew the ice right out of it. So that's probably not true what they were telling me, I don't know.
What would you say to the Belgian people today, 76 years later?
Well, it was so nice going back to Belgium, you know, and the people are so beautiful people. They are so thankful, and you know, and overwhelming. And when we went there, you know, they gave us so much respect and love. You could feel it, you know. What's the lady? What was her?
Prime Minister?
Prime Minister. We talked to her, she talked to us. She was so kind and gentle, and a nice, beautiful woman. And though, you know, I remember all those people over there. Remember that restaurant we went into with all the pictures on the wall?
Yep, the Cafe Carré.
Yeah, and some people got a picture. I said, I don't know, I wonder if my picture's up on the wall. Sure enough, it was there. And some people was carrying it. And I signed a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one guy, I remember bending over, he said, will you sign my shirt? His shirt? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They have a tremendous amount of respect for you.
Respect. And they give us so much respect. And it's, you know, when we went to France, we got off the plane in France, that town, what's the, Metz, was it? No, wait, what's the town?
Was it Reims?
Reims.
Reims. Nice looking town.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys didn't see this, I came out of the restaurant and there was this older lady. I don't think you see it. You didn't, anyway.
No.
She said something to me in French, so I said thank you, and I started walking away. And somebody else on the sidewalk said, Mister, she wants her grandson to meet an American soldier that helped save the world. And that was in France, and that was a good send-off, I think, because you know, you hear the French people don't like Americans and everything. It's not true on everybody, you know.